Hi there, my name is Brett Fish Anderson, and today we are looking at the fruits of the Spirit. And you can find these in Galatians chapter 5, where it says, the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. And so we're going to look at the first one today, the fruit that is love. And when thinking about it, there are two things I want you to think about. The first thing is it's important to note that when Jesus is asked what is the most important commandment in the world, he answers with love. And it's a twofold commandment where it's love God with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. And he goes on to say that the law and the prophets hang on these two things. And basically what he's saying is everything that's been written up to this point about God, about following what it means to be a follower of God, can be summed up by this commandment: love God, love people. And Jesus is very clear to note that loving people includes loving your enemies, and that loving your neighbor doesn't mean the person that lives next door to you, or does include them, but he even shares a story to remind us that your neighbor is the person around you. Your neighbor is a person that is in need, somebody who's been marginalized, pushed to the side. Matthew 25, story of the sheep and the goats, the neighbor is the person in need that you can meet their needs. So point number one, love is the most important thing. When Christianity gets confusing, when following Jesus becomes hard, keep returning to that. Is this love? Is this thing that I'm doing, is this thing that I'm thinking, is this body that I'm a part of, does it centralize on love? Does it focus on love? And if it doesn't, then let the warning bells go off. If it's not love, if it's not loving, then it may very well not be about following Jesus, about following God. So rule number one is that love is the greatest thing. God is characterized by love, and his actions are loving. And Jesus came and demonstrated that so well for us in the way that he lived, the way that he spoke, and even in the way that he died. And then the second thing to think about is that love is a choice. One of the most well-known passages when it comes to love is, of course, 1 Corinthians 13, that says, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Love can make mistakes, but it never fails. And I want you to think about that list and think about how most of the things, if not all the things on that list, are a choice. It says love is patient. You don't typically feel patient. When you're stuck in traffic, you don't go, oh, this is amazing. It's an opportunity to be patient. And I love the scene from the movie Evan Almighty where Evan meets the God character who's mopping out, kind of a like McDonald's vibe. And he speaks to him, and God says to him, if you ask God for patience, he doesn't grant you patience, but rather he will grant you situations in which you need to be patient. And in that way you can work out your patience. If you ask God to make you more humble, he will give you a huge long queue or line to stand at the back of. God doesn't just miraculously give you the things, but he gives you the situations. If you ask God for integrity, he'll give you situations where you are tempted to act against a person showing good character or good integrity. You'll have opportunities to show that you have integrity, and that will build your integrity even further. So those are two things when it comes to love. One, it's the main thing. Don't get that wrong. Number two, it's a choice. And just to finish off, something I've found super helpful when trying to grow your love is to read through this list, but put your name where it says love and see if it still sounds like it makes sense. See if this would make it in a court setting. When I say Brett is patient, Brett is kind, Brett does not envy, Brett does not boast, Brett is not proud, Brett is not rude, Brett is not self-seeking, Brett is not easily angered, Brett keeps no record of wrongs. Brett does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. Brett always protects. Brett always trusts. Brett always hopes. Brett always perseveres. Brett never fails. How does that one work out when you put your name in it? Let's be practicing this fruit of love and seeing it grow in our lives in the way that we treat the people around us, those that are easy, and maybe some of the other ones that are hard, some of the ones we don't notice, some of the ones that may be pushed to the side by society, but that God calls us to demonstrate his love for and to. Thank you.